Hello, everyone. Welcome to Zophar's Underworld Volume 1, the pilot episode. Just want to let you all know what you're about to watch is something that I have not shared in its entirety with anybody in over 24 years. And it's going to be very rough around the edges. I say a lot. You could probably play a drinking game to see how many times I say it. It's easily over 100 times. It's probably a lot more than that. I didn't know what I was doing. The audio quality sucks. The resolution is like 160 by 120. It's running at 32 kilobits per second. If you can make it to the end of this episode, my hat is off to you. And I would just ask, remember the context in which I recorded this episode. I was 18 years old. It was 1999. We were edgy. It's a very different era. I hope you all enjoy. And if you make it to the end, again, thank you for watching. Make sure you check out my other videos and consider a like, a subscribe, and some commentary. If you think this episode was absolutely atrocious, you're not alone. I'm with you. Pop in there what you thought, and I'll see you on the next one.
Hey everyone, Brad Levicock here, also known as Zophar on the internet. We've got a great show lined up for you today, being this is the first Zophar's Underworld issue that there is. I'd like to start off things by letting you all know that today is November 9th, 1999, as you all know, and basically we have released Believe upon the world. As you all most likely know if you visited by now. If not, check out bloodlust.zophar.net. Bloodlust Software has returned. Nope, it's not a shrine site like a lot of people have thought, and it's not the return of some Nesticle 9.683 or anything like that. This is the revival of a really popular software company in the mid-90s, Bloodlust Software. It originally was started by Iser Addis and Ethan Petty few years back when they were in high school. The first game that they ever created that was released was Executioners, which was a side-scrolling game. It wasn't the best game in the world, but for the time it came out and for the age that they were, it was an incredible game. It made them famous in Wichita, and things took off after that. And as you know, Noggin Knockers came next, then Noggin Knockers 2, Time Slaughter, and Disgruntled never made it. Disgruntled was supposed to be a game where, again, it's a side-scrolling game, and you were, I guess you were supposed to be a midget, and you would, murder everyone and so forth. It looked a lot like Nesticle's GUI as far as its graphical user interface was concerned, but it never made it because, as you all know, Iser, also known as Sardu, he went on to basically become what he is today, which he basically works for a software company, and he's happy, and so Bloodlust continues without him. Of course, we all here at Zophar's Domain wish him the best of luck. And basically, there's a new beginning now to Bloodlust Software. As you probably noticed from reading the site, there are 2 new games that are coming out. The first one is called Lust for Blood. It's basically a fighting game, kind of like Time Slaughter was. There's going to be a lot more guys in it. They're a lot meaner, they're a lot more gory, all those fun things that we've all come to expect from Bloodlust Software. And that game should be coming out hopefully within the next year or so, maybe a little longer. The second game that's being released is possibly going to be for Game Boy, and that's Noggin Knockers 3. Basically, Ethan has got few coders to help him out now, since Icer, also known as Smegma, also known as Sardu, is no longer around. And they'll be programming those games, and you should see something about that again in maybe the next few months to year. Basically, it all depends on how fast they go, how slow they go. But I'm sure you'll all be pleased with the final product, because what matters most is a bug-free product that's fun to play. So we'll keep you posted on that. Now, if that didn't get you excited, you should also know that Bloodlust Software has released all of the games that they've ever created as freeware. That includes, again, Executioners, Knockin' Knockers 1 and 2, Time Slaughter, and Disgruntled has been released, what they made of it anyway. You can get that on the betas page. I believe that they're calling it Software That Never Made It. And you should try it out, because I really believe that it would have been, a really good game, really interesting. It looked like they were going to have it as net play, kind of like Nesticle ended up being. You could probably, kill someone else online as a midget again. So that would have been fun. But again, it didn't make it, but it's still fun to check out. Personally, I love checking out things that never made it, old betas, etc. I just had this thing with nostalgia. As you all know, when I opened up Zophar's domain for the last few years, I've been just fantasizing about the past, thinking about what might have been, what might be, things that happened, things that never happened, reminiscing, things like that. But the important thing to remember here is that Bloodlust Software is back. Whatever games didn't make it, that's all in the past now. New games are coming out. Bloodlust Software is not dead, and Hellbent, Ethan Petty, has brought it back to life. And that's all I have to say on that. The second thing that you should be noticing, of course, is the Zophar's Domain video show, which I've called Zophar's Underworld. And the focus of this show is going to be on emulation main events, things like on the side, that kind of like Bloodlust Software, things that we're planning on doing in the coming weeks, months, and so forth, to let you know how I'm doing, to let you know basically everything there is to know in the emulation world today. What you'll want to realize as we go on with this broadcast is that I'm being totally open here. Everything that I'm saying is coming straight off the top of my head. I do not have a script. This is pure honesty, and I just hope that you bear with me, and we'll see what happens from here on in. One of the things that I do have planned for this show, if it does take off well, if this idea does go well, is that I'm going to be interviewing people, emulation authors. Maybe I'll interview people that run websites, basically people that mold and shape the emulation community. Just to let you all know how they're doing, that they're all real people like you and me, to see how they're progressing, and basically things like that. I think it'll be really interesting, and I think you'll all get a kick out of it. Another thing I was thinking about doing was making the show go live and possibly have people call in with questions. Now, this kind of sounds like Howard Stern or some professional radio station, but as of right now, we're just going to stick with taped, and if it does go well, we're going to consider going live with the show. I've decided to keep the show in 34 kilobits per second, basically because if you go any higher, modem users won't be able to stream. If you go any lower, it's going to look like pure hell. So we decided to choose 34. For those of you that were there and number Zophar's domain on FNet, and were able to help out with the planning of the show, with testing the files, and letting me know how the quality was, I do thank you. You will be mentioned someday if this ever gets big. And I just, again, like to thank all of you who did come that day. For those of you who did come, you know that I did a pretty crazy stunt. I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to release that. If I do release it to the world at large, you should get a kick out of that. I'm a really crazy person if you haven't figured that out yet. But, I like to have fun. I'm not a hard person to get along with. Basically, I just believe that you should have fun when you're doing this. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think I was having fun with it. I just want everyone to be happy and, have a great time doing it. So that's, why I'm doing this video show. Another topic that I want to discuss with you all was the page redesign. Well, it wasn't really a redesign, as you probably figured out. It was just a facelift to the main page. It was nothing special, and the reason that it wasn't a page redesign like originally had been planned was that I really feel that the design that we currently have is very good. It just needed to be, lifted, changed around a little bit, tweaked, if you will. But nothing really needed to be totally changed because, this layout works great. People have loved it for the last year or so. So we just gave it a little tweak. Now, one thing I do want to share with you all, when you do visit Zophar's domain, anybody who submits news I do read every email that I get, every single one, even the ones that beg for ROMs, although I don't answer those. I read every single email and I try to respond to as many as I can. If you don't get a response in like a few days, don't get mad, don't kill me, don't say Zophar is arrogant and he only answers emails from important people. Not true. I answer every email that I can. I do get a large volume of emails per day, as does the rest of the Zophar's domain staff, who I would like to thank at this time for putting up with me for all these years. But we get a lot of volume of email. So I do want you all to bear with me. I do try to answer as many as I can, and just keep sending those emails in. You're all helping me out a great deal, and the rest of the staff. When we get your news updates, we do try to post them as soon as we get them, if not as soon as we read them. We thank everyone who emails us, unless of course like 50 people email us about ZSNS 1.68, then we say thanks to everyone. But we do try to give credit to everybody who emails us. If we happen to see a piece of news on the site, we'll thank that site. We'll plug it. We have no problem with plugging other sites at all, because this is a community. This isn't who gets the most visits or anything like that. We should all be working together and all get along good. I feel that I get along well with everybody in the emulation community that runs a website. I'm very fair, and we all exchange ideas. Myself, the webmasters of retrogames.com. We talk, we discuss ideas. I talk to Uzi Player of MU Camp all the time. It's like a big happy community. We all get together and share ideas, and that's really what it's all about. Okay, having said all that, you're probably all falling asleep by now. I'd like to talk about some of the events that are going on in today's emulation world. One of the things I'd like to talk about is NSFs. As you've probably figured out, NSFs are taking off. I remember about a few months ago when there were virtually no NSFs, but the format did exist. I think it was somebody named Cricket. I can't remember exactly, but he came to me and he said, "Yo, hey, Zophar, I was wondering, could you help me plug this new format, this Nest sound format that we're working on? It's basically it's like kind of like a SID." He explained to me. For those who don't know, SID files were kind of like mods, and there were tons of them that came out, and they were very small. It's not like an MP3. You sit there, record wave digitally, yada yada yada, 1 meg for 1 minute. It's like mod data, but it's closer to MIDI because it's kind of hard to explain. MIDIs don't contain the instrument samples, but mods do. I don't want to get too technical on all of you, but NSFs were definitely a great idea. And what ended up happening was I said, sure, just find me a few NSFs, have somebody write, a total document on the history of the NSF format, everything there is to know about it, technical, everything. So it happened. Chris Covell, Kevin Horton, both of those did a terrific job. I went and I plugged it on my website. I let everyone know, hey, this is what it is. All of you people, you 6502 assembly people out there, everybody, just start submitting everything, all your NSFs, as many as you can. Let's get the ball rolling. And today there's over 100 NSFs that are currently out and more coming out every day. I urge everyone to check out www.zophar.net/NSF. I feel that you all enjoy these Nest sound format files very well. They're perfect replicas, especially if you play it on a good NSF player. Personally, I recommend Nosefart Amp. Funny name, but it's a great player. Basically, you just download Winamp from winamp.com. For those of you who don't have it, I assume you all do, and you'd copy the plugin file over to the plugins directory, and then you load your NSFs. If you don't know where to get the plugin from, you can get it from Zophar's domain utilities directory in the NSF player section at www.zophar.net/utilities/nsf.html. Another format that's similar to NSF is SPCs. SPCs were pioneered by ZS Knight of the ZSNS team. Very popular emulator. I like it a lot, as most of you do. And what SPCs are, similar to NSFs, they are SNES music formats. Each SPC contains one tune, and it also contains the samples used to play the SPCs right inside, unlike a MIDI, which is just data. So basically, SPCs are really nice. They sound really good, especially if you use a good SPC player. I'll be plugging a few SPC players here. A good one, of course, that I feel is ZDSPC, which, as you know, has recently gotten ZSNS support in there. So the CPU usage is going to be down if you use that. But I do feel the SNES 9X engine does sound better than the ZSNS engine. So, switch between the two, see what's best for you, and, experiment around. So ZDSPC is nice. You can get that at zdspc.zophar.net. And another one that's really nice is XSPC, which you can get by going to ZD's SPC section, which is zophar.net/utilities/spc.html, and check that out. There's also other nice SPC players, but those are the two that I really like. Now, for those of you who haven't submitted an SPC, I would urge you to go to zophar.net/zsnest/spc and check it out, because we have SNES tunes for almost every single SNES game there is. It sounds like I'm exaggerating, but over the last few weeks, it's just been getting crazy. We've been getting so many submissions. I want to thank everyone who submitted to that archive. You've all helped it grow, and it's just amazing how far it's come. I remember when there were 3 tunes there. One of them was from me, one of them was from ZS Knight, and I forget who the third was from. It was very small, and people thought, the idea won't take off, and this and that. But it did take off, just like NSFs are taking off, and I'd like to thank everyone for that. That should just about wrap it up for this ZD show. I decided to make this one a short one, Zophar's Underworld Volume 1, only because I want to see what the reaction to it is. I would like to thank the following people: the entire staff of Zophar's Domain. I'd like to thank Ethan Petty for putting up with me for the last few months of this Believe stuff, which everyone's been going crazy about. I'd like to thank Zachary Williams of ZTNet. He's been a great support to me. He rescued Zophar's Domain last year when it was going to hell. We were on militia.com at that time, and we were going nowhere. Which reminds me, I'd like you all to check out Zophar's Chronicles Volume 1. That should let you know where Zophar's Domain started at in 1996. I'm losing my voice now, so I'm going to try to wrap this up. So I'd like to thank all those people. I'd like to thank RetroGames.com, mucamp.com, muonlim.com, vintagegaming.com, all the emulator sites that everyone respects and that have helped me a great deal. Archaic Ruins, definitely. Node 99. If you're still out there, Avatar Z, give me an email sometime. I've always respected your site. It was sad when it went, and maybe I'll run into you sometime. I'm sure I'm forgetting a ton of sites here. Of course, I'd like to also thank Iseratis. I hope you're enjoying your job. I hope you're making a ton of money. I'm forgetting a ton of people, but read the Chronicles, read the thanks on Zophar.net for everyone I've missed. Let me know what you think of this video show, and I'll see you all next time. And until then, have yourselves a great, great week. Ta-ta.
Hey, do me a favor. If you enjoyed the content you just watched, please consider a like and a subscribe. It really helps me out and allow me to make more content for YouTube that you enjoy. Now go, mortals.